James Dewey Watson is an American molecular biologist, widely known as one of the co-discoverers of the double helix structure of DNA, a discovery that marked a major milestone in the history of science and biotechnology. He was born in Chicago, Illinois, United States, on April 6, 1928. As of August 2025, James Watson is still alive and remains one of the few historic scientific figures to have witnessed the long-term impact of their discoveries. He holds American citizenship and comes from Euro-American, Irish-English ethnic background. He was born into a Roman Catholic family, although he has not been publicly recognized as a religious figure in his professional or public life. James Watson's father, James D. Watson Sr., was a businessman, and his mother, Jean Mitchell, came from a family of educators. The Watson family was middle class and lived in urban Chicago. He was an only child, raised in an environment that strongly emphasized education and reading from an early age. His mother paid close attention to his education, and Watson grew up with a strong intellectual drive nurtured at home. As a child, Watson was known to be intelligent and fascinated by animals, particularly birds. He originally aspired to become an ornithologist, a bird scientist, and was heavily inspired by science books and radio shows. He attended South Shore High School in Chicago for his primary and secondary education and showed a strong interest in the natural sciences and biology. Watson developed a passion for science, especially genetics, during his teenage years. Watson was admitted to the University of Chicago at the age of 15 as part of an accelerated program. He earned his bachelor's degree in zoology in 1947. He then pursued doctoral studies at Indiana University, where he focused on genetics and experimental biology, earning his Ph.D. in 1950. There, he was greatly influenced by Nobel laureate Hermann Muller, who taught him about mutation genetics. Watson also underwent postdoctoral training and research in Europe, including in Copenhagen and later at the University of Cambridge, England, where history was about to be made. His scientific career took off when he joined the Cavendish Laboratory at Cambridge, where he met British scientist Francis Crick. Together, Watson and Crick collaborated to determine the structure of the DNA molecule. In 1953, they successfully proposed the double helix model of DNA based on X-ray crystallography data from Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins. This discovery was published in the journal Nature and immediately revolutionized the field of modern biology. They realized that the structure explained how genetic information is copied and inherited. For this discovery, James Watson, Francis Crick, and Maurice Wilkins were awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1962. Rosalind Franklin did not receive the prize as she had died earlier, and the Nobel Prize is not awarded posthumously, though her contribution has since gained increasing recognition. The discovery by Watson and his colleagues laid the foundation for the development of biotechnology, genetic engineering, DNA testing, and eventually the Human Genome Project. In his personal life, James Watson married Elizabeth Lewis in 1968, and they had 2 sons. One of their sons was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which led Watson to speak out on topics related to genetics and mental illness. Outside of academia, he is known for his love of birds and reading, as well as his prolific writing. Watson also had a long career in building scientific institutions. He served as director of the Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory in New York from 1968 to 1994 and later became its president. He also played a significant role in initiating the Human Genome Project as its early director at the NIH, National Institutes of Health, although he resigned due to policy disagreements with the government. However, his contributions have also been overshadowed by controversy. Watson has made several remarks that were widely regarded as racist and discriminatory, particularly regarding intelligence and ethnicity, which led to widespread condemnation. In 2007, his comments about IQ and race resulted in his removal from public and academic positions and the loss of many honorary titles. Nevertheless, from a scientific standpoint, his legacy remains monumental. In his later years, Watson's health declined after a stroke in 2019 that affected his speech. He now lives a very private life, away from public attention, residing in New York. Although his scientific publications are still remembered, most of his public and scientific activities have ceased since 2019. James Watson's legacy is immense in the history of science. He paved the way for understanding genetics and genetic diseases and helped usher in the modern era of biotechnology. His famous book, The Double Helix, published in 1968, remains one of the most iconic scientific memoirs, though it is also controversial due to its subjective portrayal of his colleagues. His famous quote, "We used to think our fate was in the stars. Now we know, in large measure, our fate is in our genes," reflects the paradigm shift in science brought about by his discovery. The life story of James Watson is not merely a series of events and achievements, but a reflection of the human journey through the twists and turns of life, from failure to success, from doubt to conviction. Every step he took left a mark that not only influenced his own era, but also bequeathed enduring values that live on to this day. Through this biography, we are invited to reflect on the fact that behind every great name lies a long process filled with struggle, sacrifice, and the courage to rise after falling. Greatness is not something that arrives instantly. It is the result of unwavering belief in one's vision and life principles. May the life journey of James Watson serve as a reminder that whoever we are and wherever we come from, there's always room to dream, grow, and give meaning. Because in the end, a good life is not measured by how high someone stands, but by how deep the mark they leave for others.